So yesterday we saw Ethereum pull off a massive 20% move based off of the tweet that you can see on the screen regarding a potential Ethereum ETF approval this coming week. So in this video, I'm going to talk about what that could mean for Ethereum and altcoins, why this may be the start of an alt season, and what alts I'm looking at for a potential long-term swing trade. So let's take a look at the charts, and where better to start than with Ethereum itself. So we're on the weekly time frame, and as we know, we've been in a decline since the beginning of March. However, what we didn't do is lose the moving average 21, as you can see. And not only that, we had a nice bullish divergence play out over the last 2 weeks as well. However, what we did lose was the 3060 weekly level of support, which we've been holding for quite a while and has been a significant level of support all the way back since September 2021. And what you can see is something that happens very often in crypto is we got a big fake out and deviation. So as I say, we're holding this level for quite a long time, several weeks, testing it, wicking below it, closing back above. We got that close below on the beginning of May, and then we deviated straight back above, very similar to what happened back here at this same level back in March 2022, where, as you can see, strong level of resistance. We close above it in this bear market rally, and then immediately close back below it, retest resistance, and drop lower. And that's exactly what's happened here, but in reverse. Strong support, close below it, and then immediately deviate back above and clear out all those late shorters. So looking very good on this time frame, and also on the daily time frame as well. Let's go take a look at that. So as you can see, we were in this sort of daily range between 2907 and 3251. We held this range low as support, reclaimed the moving average 21, and then bang, up we went on the back of that ETF news. In terms of local resistance, we've got this level here at 3685, which are these daily candle highs from all the way back in March and April. However, we're looking at pretty strong so far today to close above that, potentially come back down for a bullish retest, and then I could see us quite easily hitting those yearly highs of 4126, that weekly level that we can see just there. So all depends on what happens with this ETF decision this week. Of course, if it is a denial or a rejection, then we could well see this all unfold or come back on itself, but we'll just have to wait and see. Of course, all we know is that the chances of an approval have been increased. There's nothing concrete, so trade with caution this week, and don't be afraid of taking some profits in case that the worst does happen. But at the moment, with what we can see in front of us, all looking pretty bullish and good indeed. So let's take a look at Bitcoin as well. That's not looking too bad itself. So again, with Bitcoin, held the 60k weekly level of support, held the moving average 21 with this wick down at the end of April, and it's all looking pretty good. Nice strong candle close above 65.5k last week and above the 236 on the fib, and we're also trading above that previous all-time high of around 69k. Now we have actually dropped a little bit today. If we go down to the daily, we were well above 70k this morning, almost touching 72k. However, we've dipped back below 70k. However, I think as long as we're above those previous all-time highs of 69k, then we're looking pretty good. And of course, what we may want to see is actually Bitcoin to continue trading sideways whilst Ethereum takes the driver's seat. So we'll have to wait and see. But going back to what I was saying earlier about levels being, key levels being broken below and deviated, exactly the same thing happened here with Bitcoin. As you can see, deviated below that 60.5k daily range low, and then straight back above, came back down for a retest, and then off it went. So be cautious with those big level breaks. They are often a bit of a trap, and what you don't want to do is be that person that tries to short these levels once they're broken. It's okay to short a potential bearish retest. That's an ideal entry. Of course, it's not always going to go your way, but much better to wait for a retest than try and FOMO in to a breakout, either to the upside or to the downside. So when I talk about money moving or Ethereum taking the driver's seat, what we want to see is that capital rotation from Bitcoin into Ethereum, and we can track that with the ETH BTC chart. So I had this chart, or I did this TA quite a while ago, talked about the potential of this monthly range low of 0.05 holding and then seeing a rally. Now, of course, we didn't get that. As you can see, we came all the way down to 0.045. However, we've hit a level here and turned around pretty sharpish. So if we were to get a monthly candle close back above 0.05 or 0.05, then I think that is very bullish indeed. Again, it just goes back to what I've just shown you on Ethereum and BTC USD, where we get these break below important levels and then immediately deviate back when sentiment's at its worst, when people are giving up, when people think it's going to go lower to potentially 0.04, we then turn around and we're back within this range. And if we do deviate back inside this monthly range low, I think Ethereum could go on a really, really strong run. If we break down to the weekly, you can see a really strong weekly bullish engulfing candle, basically wiping out the last 3, 4, 5, 6, so about 7 or 8 weeks of price action in one weekly candle, which is fantastic. And of course, trying to reclaim that moving average 21 on ETH BTC as well. Now, the other thing I want to show you as well, take this with a pinch of salt, because of course it is an index, but you can see a huge bullish divergence forming on Ethereum BTC. Not only that, if we go to Bitcoin dominance, you can see a huge bearish divergence forming on that chart as well. So bearish Bitcoin dominance, bullish ETH BTC, that is all the makings for an alt season. So you can see that bearish divergence form there. Again, it is an index, so take it with a grain of salt, but it does look pretty good. And if we take a look at the monthly time frame for Bitcoin dominance, that spike to 57% that we talked about a month or two last month may well be the top, and we could see Ethereum now taking the driver's seat. So last thing I want to show you is the total 2 chart. So I talked about this a few months ago. Talked about when we first hit 1.25 trillion as resistance and started coming down. I talked about the potential of this being a cup and handle bullish chart formation pattern. And as you can see, it is starting to play out. So we got that decline all the way down to 940 billion, which I pointed out was a very strong level of previous support and resistance. And you can see tested it 3 times, held the moving average 21. Again, it is an index, but you can't deny that it has both held this support and moving average 21 and is now starting to move up. If we break the 1.25 trillion, then I think we are off to the races, and that could all coincide with ETH BTC deviating back inside the monthly range and Bitcoin dominance falling, and of course Ethereum USD having a rally as well, all pinned on the Ethereum ETF decision, which of course comes out later this week. So fingers crossed that's what happens and we go into an alt season. Now, if that was to be the case, what high time frame altcoin setups am I looking to play? So first one I'm looking at is AVAX. So if we take a look at this on the weekly time frame, you can see we've been under the weekly moving average 21 ever since the beginning of April. Rejection, 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 rejection. This week, bang, you can see we're starting or looking like we may well close above it and also reclaim this weekly mid-range as well. If we do that, then I think we're well on our way to retest the range highs of $49 and then break that, and we could well run up to these previous highs or local highs of $65. If we just take a look at the return on that, so it's about 23% from here to the weekly range highs, and then 64% to $65, and then of course we're hoping for much higher from there as well. And if we take a look at the RSI as well, you can see that not only are we holding the RSI 50 at the midpoint, but we have got some bullish divergences playing out as well. So weekly candle close above, call it $40, and I think AVAX is going to be a really nice play. If we take a look at NEAR, you can see this has been a really strong performer this year. Tagged the EMA 21 back in April and has been pretty much up only since. We're currently holding this weekly level of support at about $6.80 pretty well, bouncing around $6.80 and $8.30. You can see many tests of this $8.30 weekly resistance. So if we get a weekly candle close above that, I think we are off to the races and we could well see all-time highs or previous all-time highs very quickly. So I'm waiting for the weekly candle close above here, or if we do retrace back and retest $6.80 again, I will look to get in. Of course, if that's off the back of an ETF denial, then maybe not. We'll obviously have to see what the circumstances are. However, my first plan A, is a weekly candle close above $8.30 and then run to all-time highs. You're still looking at about 140% return, which I think is great. And also NEAR has that AI narrative as well, so a really strong run, I think could be a really good performer. And then finally, FTM USDT, very similar to AVAX. It's holding above the weekly moving average 21, as you can see. Many tests held it as support, held the weekly range low of support at 65 cents. Now trying to tackle that weekly mid-range here at about 89 cents. Weekly candle close above that, and I think easily get up to the weekly range highs, which is about 25% move. And then above there, the next target I would have is about $1.61, which is the top of this March-April 2022 bear market rally at about $1.64. So fingers crossed, waiting for those confirmations. And of course, it should all come with a potential Ethereum ETF approval. But as I said earlier in the video, be cautious. We may not get it. It's not guaranteed. So yeah, don't be afraid of taking a bit of profits or hedging just in case we do get that denial and the rug gets swept from beneath our feet. So hope you enjoyed the video. What altcoins are you looking to accumulate for a potential alt season? And do you think the ETF does get approved this week? Let us know in the comments, and I'll see you on the next video.